everybody, so I'm here with my mom visiting for Thanksgiving and I'm going to be doing her makeup today. I know a lot of you guys are older, not everyone is younger, so I wanted to do a video for you all. So I'm going to be showing some skincare tips as well as makeup tricks on how to make her look younger and enhance some of her natural features as well. So I'm first going to be moisturizing her skin because if you have drier skin, you want to especially make sure it's really hydrated. So I'm just using something very light, something that's not going to irritate her skin. This is the Aveeno Ultra Calming Daily Moisturizer. It has SPF in it too, which is awesome. I'm also going to be adding in this Paula's Choice C15 Super Booster, which is just a serum. It's like going to supercharge your moisturizer and give you extra moisture, especially in the winter months when your skin is... So now I'm going to be using a primer on her skin, and I actually forgot mine back at home that's more for pore minimizing, but this is the one that she uses. It's actually from the Clinique Redness Solutions line, which is designed for red skin like her. She has rosacea, so it's going to actually help calm the redness as well as like cover up the redness underneath the makeup. So this is the Redness Solutions Daily Protective Base. This has SPF 15 in it as well. So I'm just going to be using this one, but the one that I was also going to use on her skin was the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base, and that one is really good at filling in large pores. So if you do have a problem with that, then that would be the one you want to use. But this one is actually a green tone, so it's going to help cover up some of that redness. So now that we have the primer on, I'm going to be using actually her foundation, which is also from that Clinique Redness Solutions line, and this is the broad spectrum. This has SPF 15 in it, and it says it has probiotic technology. I'm going to be using a beauty blender to apply this. This is already damp, that's why it looks so big and spongy. You can get a beauty blender at Sephora, or you can also order it online, so I will link it for you guys on my blog, as well as all the products that I'm going to be using in this video. But a beauty blender sponge is going to help the makeup go on without creasing and settling into lines. It also helps absorb the product so you don't apply too much, and it keeps it from looking cakey. And since she does have really dry skin, this is going to help make it look more dewy and fresh as well because it is a little bit damp. You just run it under some water and then you squeeze it out in a towel so it's not like soaking wet. So you could also use a BB cream. These are two of my favorites. They're both from the drugstore. This one is by NYX and then this one is Garnier. I really like these because they only have a little bit of coverage. This one's actually more of a full coverage if you use a concealer too. They're really good at keeping your skin looking hydrated, so if you have dry skin, then they're going to be really good for that too. I'm just going to be using her foundation instead of the BB cream just because it does have a little bit more coverage, so we can cover some of the redness. It also gives like an airbrush look because it presses it into the skin instead of a brush, which just kind of smears it around your face. Of course, you also want to make sure your foundation matches your skin. I have a whole video on how to choose the right shade of foundation and also the right consistency, so I will link that in the description. So now I'm just going to go over that with my foundation brush. This one is from Sedona Lace, but you could use any flat top kabuki like this. And I'm just going to kind of stipple it into her pores. Just because some of the fine lines in the pores, the sponge doesn't really like soak it in as well. So I'm just going to go over with the brush just to blend everything, but you don't have to do this stuff.
Now what do you suggest for people that have to put it on in like 5 minutes, 6 minutes? What's the quickest route?
I feel like the sponge is pretty quick. Or the brush. I mean, once you get used to it, you can do it really fast. So now I'm going to put concealer around her eyes, and I'm going to use the CoverGirl Depuffer. This one actually has cucumber extract in it, so it's going to be really great at depuffing tired morning eyes. It also has a metal tip applicator, so that's going to feel really cooling, especially if your eyes are tired in the morning. And it's also going to help depuff. The sponge is also going to help pick up the product so it doesn't settle into the fine lines under the eye. So you can already tell it did cover pretty well. Now I'm just going to spot conceal around her face. Using the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, I actually pumped it into a little jar here for traveling, but it actually comes in a bigger jar with a pump. I'm just going to be using a synthetic blending brush for this. This is going to help blend everything out, but you could use your fingers as well. So I'm just going to use this to cover up some of the dark circles that are still showing through and then any redness that's still on her face, but she really doesn't have much more. But this is a really thick, full coverage concealer, so you only need a little bit. So now I'm going to set her foundation and her concealer using a powder. I would recommend this one. This one's actually my favorite. This is NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. A powder foundation is going to give a little bit more coverage, and this one will keep you from looking too flat, and that's why it says that in the name. And then the one that I'm actually going to use for her is CoverGirl in Olay. This one has Olay moisturizers in it, and this one is more her shade. That's why I'm going to be using it, because this one is too dark for her. But either one of these would be really good. Just anything that's not too flat looking, because you don't want to make your face look too matte to where it just enhances any fine lines. So I'm just using a fluffy blending brush like this, and I'm just going to pat that underneath her eyes. You want to set that concealer so it doesn't crease or fade away throughout the day, so you just pat a little bit of powder. So now I'm just going to use an e.l.f. Kabuki brush. This is just good for applying powder all over the face, and I'm just going to set any areas that might get a little bit oily, which I don't think she does get oily, but it'll just make sure the foundation stays on and doesn't fade away. So now to add some color to her face, I'm going to be using a contouring or a bronzing powder. This is by Jane, and it's just in the shade Dream, but they have different shades of these. I'm just using a Sedona Lace Dome contour brush to contour her face. So contouring is going to help emphasize the hollows, so it's going to help slim her face. So if you don't know where your, I was about to tell you to do that. So you can suck in your cheeks like that if you don't know where the hollow of your cheek is, just so you can see it. But just a rule of thumb, you just want to go from your ear down to your mouth right here. And you don't want to take it anywhere past your eye, because then it starts to get in this area and it will just look muddy. So I'm just using a really light hand and going in circular motions to apply that to her cheeks. There you go.
Didn't think I knew that, did you?
So now I'm just going to contour the sides of her forehead. It's just going to make it appear slimmer.
What about here?
Yeah, I'm doing that now. You can also contour your lower jawline underneath here. That's going to give the appearance of a shadow and make it look slimmer. You just want to make sure you blend it down the neck though, so you don't have a line right here. So then I'm just going to use my Kabuki brush to blend everything down so we don't have any harsh lines.
Your what brush?
Kabuki brush.
Kabuki?
That's what it's called. I know it's weird because like I say it all the time and most people know what I'm talking about. But people who don't are like, what? What is that? It's called a Kabuki brush. It's really thick. This one's cheap too. It's only $3. You can get it at Target, I think, or you can order it. So now I'm going to be using a cream blush. This is the NYX Rouge Cream Blush. This is in the shade Tea Rose. It's just really natural. It's just a mauve brown color. And I'm also going to be using an e.l.f. small stipple brush to apply this. This you can order off of e.l.f.'s website. And basically a cream blush looks more natural. It has more of a dewy finish, so it's really good if you have dry skin because it's going to make it look more luminous and make it look more like alive and not like a flat powder blush. But you can use a powder blush too. Just dip it in a little bit. Sometimes I tap off any excess in the lid so you don't apply too much. You just want to start small and then build up if you need more color. And then you just stipple it onto the cheeks like this, and then you blend it. And I like to focus the blush on the outer portion of the cheekbones just so it doesn't look too rosy right here. You can see it gives a sheen to the tops of her cheekbones, which really makes her face look more youthful and glowy. You could just leave it like this, but if you want to make sure it does stay on all day and it doesn't move, because any cream products could move throughout the day, I'm just going to take whatever powder is left over on this Kabuki brush, and I'm just going to dab over it. It's not going to really take away much of the shine, but it's just going to give a little bit of powder on top. But you don't want to use any powder that is too full coverage, because then it will of course cover up the color we just put on. Especially if you have like a translucent powder or something that'll just lock it in place so it's going to stay all day. So now I'm going to do her brows, and brows really frame the face and really pull the whole look together. You don't want to apply too much though, so I'm just going to be using a pencil. This one is from Clinique. I'm using hers because it is in her correct shade. This is in an auburn shade, which is great for redheads. You also want to use something that is really thin like this because it's going to create natural hairs instead of just drawing on eyebrows like you used a marker. And I'm just going to be using a spoolie brush to brush them out. You can really get these anywhere. They even make disposable ones. So I'm just going to do short strokes really lightly. I'm not pressing too hard. And I'm just staying within her natural brow shape. If you need to create an arch, just enhance this upper part. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit of a brow gel. This one is by NYX. They make some different ones though. You could use the Maybelline Great Lash Clear Mascara. Just anything that's going to set it in place so they don't end up like moving around like that throughout the day. I know that always gets on my nerves. So I just do a little bit of brow gel. You don't want to apply too much. Use a brow gel. I'm gonna do all this makeup and you're not going anywhere.
I'll leave it on until tomorrow. I'll just wake up.
I would sleep in it.
I think you should plan a holiday makeup thing.
I've already done a couple of them.
For my age.
Oh.
Like
we
a
could do one
holiday
at
party.
Christmas. Before I do her eyeshadow, I'm going to use a primer. This is the Urban Decay Primer Potion. You definitely want to be using a primer on your eyes because your eyeshadow will crease and it will settle into the fine lines on your eyes, and it will also wear away throughout the day, especially if you have deep set eyes like my mom does. You want to be using a primer to make the eyeshadow stick and keep it from moving around.
Now you can't use the same primer on your face?
It's not designed to work the same. This one's a little bit more tacky, so it makes the eyeshadow pigment stick to it so they stay in place.
Okay.
And a little goes a long way. You only need about that much.
So we're going with an everyday wear,
Yes, very
not
natural.
like not a dramatic,
No, I think that's
like
probably
for a
better.
special
Something you wear
occasion.
every day to work. You can do it really fast. So for her eyeshadow, I'm using my Lorac Pro palette, and this is the second one, so it has more cool tone shades, which I think will look better with her skin tone and her hair, but you can really use any eyeshadows you want as long as they are matte. I definitely think matte shadows are better if you have fine lines on your eyes because shimmer shadows will really enhance all the fine lines on your eyes and just make them stand out more. So you want to stick to more of matte shadows like the ones across the top here. So I'm just going to start out by putting this matte shade called Buff all over her lid, and I'm just using the flat shader brush side of this same brush. The brushes I've been using that are double-sided are actually from Walmart. I did a whole video on my favorite essential makeup brushes for beginners. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money, I definitely think this kit is worth it, so I will link those for you guys as well. So I'm not going to be doing too much on her eyes. I just want to kind of enhance the natural shape, so I'm just going to put this neutral shade all over the closure. Now I'm just going to be using a synthetic blending brush, and I'm going to pick up the shade called Light Brown. This is also matte as well, and I'm just going to apply this to the crease. This is just going to add a little bit of definition to your eyes so they don't look just flat on the top. It helps if you raise your eyebrow because then you can see where your crease is, and your crease is basically just the eye socket where it dents in a little bit right here. So you just want to use circular motions and go back and forth too, and take it about halfway in. You don't want to go too far in, especially if you have small eyes like she does, because you don't want to close them off and make them look smaller.
Now if I'm doing it, how am I going to
Close one eye and open the other one?
close one eye and open the other
Yeah.
one?
If you just find where the crease is, then you close your eye.
How would you do it?
If you have your eyes closed and you just find where the crease is, then you can kind of just go back and forth even with your eyes closed. And this brush is nice because it blends as I'm applying it, so you don't really have to worry about it looking muddy or anything, as long as you blend it really well. So now I'm just going to take the shade called Buff again on a blending brush like this, and I'm just going to be applying this to her brow bones. So now I'm just going to use a pencil brush, and that same kit I mentioned from Walmart also comes with a pencil brush, but this one is from Sigma. I'm just going to take the same light brown shade and I'm going to apply that to her lower lash line. This is going to help define her eyes and make them stand out more, kind of like eyeliner, but it's a lot softer and not so harsh. And I'm just going to take that about halfway in again so we don't close off the eye. You also want to connect it up to the upper lash line as well. Right, close your eye. And then you can also kind of make a little bit of a V right here if you want to deepen up that crease, and just connect it so it all looks like it's one and not just really heavy on the top and nothing on the bottom. So now I'm going to do a little bit of shimmer just on the very inner corners of her eyes just to brighten everything up and make her eyes look more awake. I'm just going to take the shade called Beige here. You don't want to go too light because you don't want it to look fake and too white. So I would go with something neutral that's similar to your skin tone but has a little bit of shimmer in it. And I'm just going to apply that with a shader brush. I'm just going to dab that in her inner corners. Okay, look down. Okay. Just going to dab that right in there where it gets a little dark just to kind of brighten it up. But I'm not going to really take the shimmer too far in because I don't want it to get too glittery. But just that little bit of brightness right there is really going to make your eyes look more awake. So then for eyeliner, I'm going to be using a pencil eyeliner. I feel like pencil eyeliner definitely looks more natural than a gel or a liquid. So I have two options. The first one is from Studio Gear, and this is in the shade Suede. This is a really nice like light brown. It's nothing too dark, so it's going to look really natural. And then this one is a little bit more creamy. This one is from CoverGirl, and it's their Ink It eyeliner pencil. I like these because they last a really long time, but you just have to be careful because they are pretty creamy, so you would want to kind of smudge them out with a Q-tip so it doesn't look too harsh. I don't want to do any harsh eyeliner because I want it to still look natural and blend it out, so that's why for her, I like using more of a drier eyeliner formula like this one. So that's what it looks like swatched. You can tell it's a very light, neutral kind of gray brown, and it's really dry too, so it's not going to make a really sharp line. You can also warm it up on your hand too if your pencil is too dry, but you want to be using something that's still creamy at the same time that's not going to tug and pull on your eye. So when you apply eyeliner, I would keep it really close to the lash line, and you just want to kind of dab it on to keep it really natural looking and kind of smudge it into the upper lashes. Now I'm going to kind of angle the corner up a little bit just to open up her eyes and make them look more like cat eye and not like pointed downward. This pencil is nice too because it actually stays on if your eyes get watery and stuff throughout the day. This actually will stay on. And I do have a 10% off coupon code for Studio Gear, so if you want to use that too when you order, it'll get you some money off. So it just kind of defined them. It didn't like draw like a ring around your eye, you know. And I would not put eyeliner either on the inner rim right here because that's just going to close off your eyes and make them look really small. So I like keeping it just on the outer portion. I only went about this far and I didn't want to take it into the inner part because then you don't want to end up smudging and it getting dark around that inner area. So if you want to, you can curl your eyelashes. It's going to help open up your eyes and give them a boost and just make them look more awake, but you don't have to if you don't want to, but it just really helps.
And you should remember to change the strip.
Yeah, I tell them that all the time. If your eyelash curler has a big dent in it, then it's probably ripping out your eyelashes, so you want to make sure you change these. You can actually buy replacements. I've been having trouble though finding replacement pads in the store, so you might want to order it, or you could just buy a new eyelash curler. So her mascara was a little bit too dried up, so we're going to be using this new one I just bought. It's the Maybelline Lash Sensational, and this one I think would be good too for her lashes because it's smaller, so it's great if you have smaller eyes, and I think it's going to be good because it has longer bristles on top, so it can really grab small lashes, and it also has like a curve shape, so it's going to add some curve to it.
Yeah, you can go out the door with mascara and lipstick and look made up.
And concealer under your eyes.
If you don't have those things, people say, "Are you feeling well? You look tired." Yeah. Are you feeling all right?
Especially if your lashes are really light like mine and yours. Yours are red. At least they're still red and not gray.
Oh yeah, that's a plus.
So we're losing some natural light, so hopefully the lighting didn't change any. But I'm going to be showing some different lip options. I'm definitely going to be using a lip liner because I feel like it helps to enhance the shape of your lips, especially if they're a little bit thin or if they have fine lines. It's nice to just enhance that shape. So I'm going to be using the Studio Gear lip liner. This one is in Perfect Plum, and that's the swatch of it right there. It's just a really nice like red-brown color that really would work good on any skin tone. And then for the lipstick, I have this Nuance one, and this is in the shade Wine, and I have that one swatched right here underneath of it. And this one is nice because it's more sheer. It actually doesn't come out as dark as it looks here in the tube. And this one is, again, more of a red-brown shade, so it's great for older women. It's not anything that's too bright or anything like that. And then I have the L'Oreal Glossy Balm here, and these are really nice because they're sheer as well, so I feel like they look really hydrating on the lips, which is great if your lips are dry or if they have fine lines. You don't want to use anything really matte that's really going to show those. You want to use something that has a little bit of a sheen to it just for more of a youthful look. And I like using kind of mauve shades or browns or anything that's more of like a toned down. You don't want anything that's too bright, but you still want to add color too. What do you think about how it turned out? Do you like it?
I love it. I feel like I look more youthful. My skin is smooth. There's no lines showing.
Good, so it's something you think you'll do every day before work?
Most definitely.
So that is the completed makeup look. I hope you guys liked it. And let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I think it definitely worked out good with her hair color and everything really pulled together nicely. So I hope you learned some tips and tricks and stuff on how to do your makeup. And if you need any extra help, I will have a complete step-by-step list on my blog, which is the first link in the description box below this video. And I'm also going to list all the products that I use as well with links to where you can purchase them online, and I'll also suggest where you can buy them in the store as well. So that is it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos with my mom, or if you have any requests for future ones, definitely let me know, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye everyone.
Bye. I gotta make sure you get it in my wrinkles.
I know, so don't try.
They want to know that.
I'm just blending
my
it
eyes
into
out?
my hair. No, or not. Stop making faces. Yeah. Okay. Lift up the skin and stick the concealer.
We all have to lift our skin up.
I'm just gonna.
Sorry, I had to yawn.
I go back to you and you're like,
Wait a minute, it's got to come.
gosh.
Okay.
Deep breath.
Come on. Ooh, my eyes are going to water.
Okay.
I already feel younger.
Look straight. Look at Holly. Holly, you can't be in the video.
Aw, yeah, she wants me. She wants her grandma. Hi, Holly. Hi, sweetie.
Holly.
Hey.
Okay, start over.
What was I saying?
Alright, just start over. The first prize is a Lorac Pro palette. It's an awesome palette. The shadows are really great quality and it's something that everyone can use every single day. And then the second prize is going to be